Before leaving Nagao, you may now switch on your personal electronic
Stop.
Yes.
Thank you. Everything's fine. Thank you.
la faccia.
Strony byli dobre, że teraz przez drogą, a oni byli na wodzie z nich. Byli na wodu, lepiej tam.
Travelers to prepare and collect their luggage, paying close attention to the steps while getting off.
Platform 16. Stay behind the wheel.
Attenzione, treno in arrivo al binario centrale e in partenza dal binario 9.
可能里面就没有了。